Ew. Hey, Lindsay, it's Tuesday.
Oh my gosh. It's Tuesday, 6 p.m.
It's Tuesday. Someone's
You know
saying
what's
hi
good.
from Atlanta already. There's 35
Ooh,
people watching. We got Danny
very nice.
Worsnop on the show. Oh, man. It's prime time. Hey, Gabriel, please roll the clip.
What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. It's prime time. What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Tuesday Night Prime Time. We're glad you could join us. Tonight we're doing a very special GS Mini Face-Off with Mr. Danny Worsnop. Hey, what's up, Danny? Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Did you finish your dinner yet? Did you finish your dinner?
We're about halfway through. The rest is going to wait for me afterwards.
Lindsay Love is here. What's up, Lindsay?
What's up, Andy?
Mr. Jay Parkin. Here on Primetime.
Oh, Andy, it's so good to hear that song. I missed it last week. I missed it, I guess. I heard it. You know what I'm trying to say. I missed it. Hey, Hunter, you're back watching the show. I missed you. How are you? We got the feed. It's going off already. Love that lava lamp. I already did that, Gabe. I have controls too. Danny Worsnop, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is going to be awesome. Lindsay, love, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Jay?
I'm fantastic. Andy.
Yep.
What's up, Jay?
How are you, Andy?
I'm doing well.
Where are you, Andy?
I'm in the Northwoods.
Interesting. How are the Northwoods? They're very blue.
Very blue.
You're blue.
He's going for that blue. Lindsay, where are you? You're not. Where are you?
No, I'm in the same place I normally are. I'm just in a different wall, different section. Didn't feel like doing all the setup today.
I get it.
Melded in. I was like running behind, and it was like Starbucks or setup. Starbucks.
I get you. I totally understand that. And Danny,
apologies.
Danny, where are you coming from?
I am coming from the interior of my my studio here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Holy smokes! All the way from Florida.
I know.
You know what's funny? Danny hit me up earlier, and it was like, I don't know, 2:45 p.m. Pacific time, and he was like, "I'm on. I'm ready." Wow. We got the time change.
The time.
Different. Yeah.
Yes.
I just had 5:40 stuck in my head all day. I was like, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go shower and get ready for this.
It's so good. It's so good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I know JD says Starbucks for sure. I get you. Coffee.
Absolutely.
I have my coffee. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Taylor Primetime. If you're here for the first time, it's a guitar nerd talk show where we just talk about nerdy guitar things and music stuff. And we don't really take ourselves that seriously. So we wanted to bring this most serious guest that we've ever had on tonight.
Thanks for taking myself very seriously, of course. Yes.
So we got Danny Worsnop on here. We're gonna do a GS Mini face-off. We did get a little nudge of hate about someone not liking these face-off shows. Well, we only have 37 more, so they will be done soon. Don't worry about that. Reminder in the feed, let's keep it cool and calm and collected, and let's keep the nerd and guitar nerd. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to put you in timeout for some derogatory or hateful or political speech here. That's not what this is about. This is about guitars. Reminder, at the end of the show, we got some trivia. We got a good prize tonight for trivia. Let's see what go into. Ooh, we're bringing back a segment. Yes, so we don't have any hate. We kind of had some hate. But right now, We've taken a break for this for a little bit. Now we're going to bring it back. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to roll through with the draft.
Nice.
Gabriel, roll the clip.
Back.
All right. Take it away, Andy. Got something new.
Draft. This game is called the draft. Draft. It's time to play the draft. Draft time. Draft. It's time to play the draft. Draft. Time to play the draft.
Wow. That was fantastic, Andy.
I was a little undecided about the actual melody there for a minute, so I apologize.
That's fine.
Okay.
And
You found
that Zoom pedal was on
Found it.
fire right there. So that was great. What's up, peeps? Says Sambo. We're saying what's up back. Okay, the draft. Danny, the draft is great. So we don't know what the topic is. We don't know what we're drafting right now. So we're all learning this for the first time. In a second, Gabriel is going to post what we're drafting onto the screen so we can see it. And then we are going to each take a turn drafting one of these things that we're supposed to draft. All right? Pretty easy, pretty fun. This is going to be good. Gabriel, please show us the draft this evening. Draft your top 3 vocalists to sing in your 3-part harmonies super band.
This is so easy that it makes it hard.
Right?
There are so many incredible options, but also
right.
most times do not go together.
All right, one
Right.
at a time, please. We will start with Danny, then we'll go to Lindsay, then Andy, then myself. Give yourself a couple of seconds, Danny. Oh, man. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you'll get to know Danny in a second, but Danny is a wonderful rock singer in a band called Asking Alexandria. And if you haven't had a chance to hear it, they have a new record out. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this is a good one for you. All right, go for it, Danny.
Okay, I'm going to have to go with... okay, so we're going to go Adele, number 1.
Oh,
I think...
he took Adele off the board that quickly. All right.
I'm going to go... Because you know whose voice would go perfect with this?
You can't say it yet.
Oh, I can't?
No,
You
we
don't
gotta
want him
go
to
one
just...
at a
'cause
time.
just in case someone steals his next one. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait,
don't,
I'm not supposed to say them?
not all 3, just one
Not
at
all
a time,
3.
and we'll go around.
Okay, cool.
All right, Lindsay, go.
Yeah. 3 is tough because I want to say everybody in Take 6. They have the best harmonies in the world, period. Hands down. Nobody's going to beat them. But second, I'm going to just start picking Clark sisters, which you guys probably don't know who they are, but they are the queens of harmony. Jackie. We'll go with Jackie first. No, excuse me. We're going to go with Karen Clark.
Okay, Karen Clark, got it. Andy Lund.
I'm uncertain now. You guys you're planning like you guys are talking like producers. I was just going with rock stars in general. So
Just go with rock stars then. You got to have your own.
I'm gonna put. the first thing I thought of was the highest melody part. I'm gonna go with John Anderson from Yes. That's where I'm gonna start.
It's a good
Oh,
one.
man. Okay, well, just because everyone left the most perfect rock singer of all time off the board, I'm going to say Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. Thank you. All right, I got Bruce. Danny, yours is next.
Okay, I feel like we're making very different song records here.
Yes.
Oh, wait until I get hip hop on you.
Okay, so about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was on Twitter and I was like, I'd put it out into the universe and I said, hey, I need for my next birthday or Christmas, whatever it was at the time, I said, I need a duet of Adele and Chris Stapleton. And about 6 months later, she did an interview where she said that was her dream duet partner. And then now they released her tracks from a new album. They got a new version of her new song with Chris Stapleton. So Chris Stapleton's my number 2.
Nice.
Dang it.
That's a good reason.
He was on my list.
Well, not
Okay.
anymore.
Dang
Should have
it.
started
Okay.
there.
We should have started there, but yeah, I had to have Bruce. I had to lock him up. Okay, Lindsay, go for it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna just give you mine too because you guys aren't gonna pick them. Trust me. So
That's no fair.
You're not gonna pick them. You don't even know who they are probably. But the truth is, Jackie and Dorinda Clark to round out their sister Karen Clark. The Clark sisters, if you don't know who they are the reason most pop groups, including Adele, people like Yeba, I mean, everybody quotes them as their singing heroes. There are three. I mean, they have the blood harmony. That's like a thing that people know about with your sisters.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna specifically looking at this draft, and you talk about 3-part harmonies, I'm gonna go with the Clark sisters because they're gonna do something nobody else can do. And I know you're like Whitney and Mariah, but no, these sisters sing like one voice. It's like their vocal cords are the same. So I'm done. That's a good draft.
Okay, she threw everything on the table. That's fine.
I did.
Mine,
I'm
gonna make these folks work for it. That's my whole point. That's my drive here. Okay, Andy, who's your next?
My guys are going to need to work too. I'm going to pick David Crosby for number 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one. I went to see her perform in Vegas once with a good friend of mine whose name is Zane. And as we were sitting there, we both didn't want to look at each other because about one bar in, we were both crying hysterically. Stevie Nicks.
Wow.
Stevie Nicks with Bruce Dickinson. That would just be weird, but who cares? All right. Who is your last draft pick, Danny Worsnop?
All right, so we obviously have we got our top end feeling nice. Adele probably overworking, needing some fresh surgery afterwards, but she's carrying the top end. We got Chris fattening out that upper mid. So we're gonna get that low mid and the kind of that bottom octave filled out, but I don't want it to be too beefy to where it just starts feeling. I'm gonna go Mayer.
John Mayer.
Yeah. Nice.
Everybody has a little bit of rasp. I like it.
Yeah, nice hair in that bottom end. Well, I'm assuming that they're backing up me, so they have to have a bit. Otherwise, it'll start sounding like glass, and no one wants that.
4-part harmony. Okay. Andy Lund.
My third pick will be Neil Finn from Crowded House because he can do the lead vocal and he can do any of the harmony stuff as well. Awesome singer.
Oh, man. Dang it. That's a good one, too. Look at there's some great ones. Hunter has a great one. Yeah. Robert Plant, Stevie Nicks, Keith Richards, Nathaniel Ratliff. That's a good one.
Really weird. Go like Ice Cube.
Well, I wasn't going to go Ice Cube because I got to go to my queen. My queen, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Has to be added to this. So it's Stevie, Aretha, and Bruce Dickinson just because he's always on there. And my fourth? Danny Worsnop.
I'll accept it.
Yes, the lead singer. Yes.
Danny Worsnop. There we go.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the draft for this evening. Danny, English singer, guitarist, tailor player, most prominently known, like I said earlier, for being the frontman and lead vocalist for Asking Alexandria. How in the heck did you get your start doing music? When did you know that this was going to be your life?
I remember where my love of music came from. It came from Michael Jackson. As I think many in my generation, I'm 31 now, but so when I was a kid, that was it was everywhere. It was everything, and it was everywhere, and you couldn't avoid it. And I was exposed to that at a very young age, and didn't expand my musical horizons very much for a few years, just because I was just like try and show me other stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's not Michael, get it away. And I was just like, that was my universe. And I started writing songs. I was about like 4 or 5 years old. And they were all just really bad rewrites of his songs. I'm like, I wrote this new song. It's called like The World Song or something. Like, doesn't he have almost that exactly, but with better words that like 6 and up people know, which he did. But that's kind of where it started for me. And then I started playing. I never wanted to be a singer, but I started playing instruments. I started with the violin and then moved to the trumpet. And then I played in an orchestra on the road for a few years. And then moved to the guitar when I was 12. And I did that all the way up until we couldn't find a singer for Asking Alexandria.
And that was it. Did you?
Yeah, we'd written the guitars and we'd written the vocals, but we couldn't find anyone to sing them. So the idea was me and Ben, the at the time other guitarist, now the lead guitarist, we were just going to kind of go in and take it in turns on a microphone and try and piece together a concept so we could send it to people so they could audition to it. So then what we were hearing. And I did one pass and I walked out and he said, "You're fired. You were the singer of Asking Alexandria." And then I had to learn how to sing.
And you started, you're a little bit more traditional rock now. You've expanded as a band. And by the way, I love that. I like when you're your favorite band. And it shows when you guys are on stage. It shows when you guys are making music and playing music. And being coming from the record label side of things, I always used to tell artists, if you make your favorite record and you are your favorite band, that's how it should be. You should listen to your own music all the time. And that's what I feel when I hear you guys play. You guys need to go check out Asking Alexandria. But
see what's on the inside, available everywhere now.
Is that what it's like? It's like you guys, you've gone from really screamy and very heavy, genty, if you will, to now more traditional rock, and you're just elevated yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up obsessed with rock and roll, and it was kind of the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and earlier years of the 90s that was our kind of core music that got us into this and made us want to do this. So it was kind of only natural for us to end up back there. I think we got put in a box really early on of being that kind of loud scream band when we were making our first record when we were 17. We were angsty. That was like something to do to fit in. And it was something we grew out of so quick, but it was so hard to get away from, especially because we had a lot of success with it very quickly. So then it's even harder to get away from, and you kind of got to ease everyone out. And then eventually, you're always going to split a room when you're changing things that drastically. There's always going to be people who aren't into it and people who are, and there'll be kind of some people leave, new people come, and you always just hope from a business standpoint as well as someone who just is creating and loves what they're doing. You always hope there's more people showing up than there are leaving, and we've been fortunate. But I think ultimately we wanted to do exactly what you said. We just wanted to be our own favorite band, and we pride ourselves on, when we go in, we don't have a rule book. It's going to sound like this, or it's got to match what we did before, or we're going to try and do this. We just go in and we try and find songs that we really want to hear, but someone hasn't made them yet.
Yeah, I love that. I think we can all relate to that, us here in this little 4-piece right now. Before we talk about how we started a relationship as Taylor and Asking Alexandria, hey, you want to play a little? You want to play something?
I can play something.
Okay. Are you warmed up enough?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Look what I have here.
Oh, a GS Mini.
I do, and the reason we're in the studio, not in a different part of the house, is because being a singer, I also am very needy, and I require reverb when I do things. So speaking of being our own favorite band, this is possibly my favorite song we've ever written. It was a long time ago, but it still holds up to today. Oh, you vanquish now. He's a man of soul, traded in his misery for a lonely life of the road. The years are cruel to him, no, he won't let them go. Lays awake trying to find the man inside to pack his bags, escape this world. I've never been so torn up in all of my life. I should have seen this coming. I've never felt so hopeless that I do tonight. I don't wanna do this anymore. You wanted to change the world to make it all worthwhile. So put his pen to paper and poured out everything inside. It's when I sleeping up with the man that he became. Slowly but surely on the fast track to fall into his grave. Oh, I've never been so torn up in all of my life. I should have seen this coming. I've never felt so hopeless. I do tonight. I don't wanna do this anymore. I can't believe I've come so far in such short time. I'm still fighting on my own. If I stop to catch my breath, I might never breathe again. So just know this, I've never been so torn up in all of my life. I can't believe I let myself break down. No, I've never been so torn up in all of my life. I should have seen this coming. I've never felt so hopeless. I do tonight. I don't wanna do this anymore. Boy, you've anguish now. He's a man of soul, traded in his misery, the lonely life of the road.
Dang, man. That was awesome.
And that's why I like the GS Mini. Just it works for me.
That's why I like the GS Mini. So let's go right into it. Someone asked if we're going to talk about GS Minis. Heck yeah, we're going to talk about GS Minis right now. This is a GS Mini face-off. If you've seen the last few shows, we're going to play some GS Mini clips. We're going to talk about the GS Mini and why it's so great. So this is Danny's guitar. It was when we were first introduced. Actually, Chris Sharp introduced you and I. Chris Sharpie helped start this show, and then he moved on to brew some beers and take some photos and do some other stuff in his life. And we wish him well and we miss him dearly. But he introduced us, and he said one day he comes storming in the office. He's like, Danny Worsnop plays a GS Mini. Do we work with him? I said, no, I didn't know he played a GS Mini. And then he showed us a clip. And from then, you were, even before we had a relationship, you were just raving about this instrument, why it was so great. So you're the perfect guest to have on and talk about GS Minis. So GS Mini Face-Off, Showdown, whatever you want to call it. Since its arrival, it's taken on a life of its own by captivating players with the perfect mix of qualities to make it feel fun and accessible. It's a comfortable, scaled down size, full body voice that's easy to play. Would you agree with that, Danny?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I very much would.
It recently crossed the line of 400,000 sold.
Wow.
Not enough.
Not enough. Would you?
The only way that number makes sense to me is if there were only 200,000 guitarists in the world.
That's fair. That is so fair. I agree with that. True or false? Every single guitar player on the planet should own a GS Mini.
I have said that multiple times.
You have said that many a times.
I believe I said that in the 10 years of GS Mini video.
You did. That is right. All right. So here's how this works. It's pretty simple. We're going to dive right into it. Jay, as the announcer, what's that all about? I don't even know what's going on over here. They're going crazy in the feed. Well, anyway, here's what's going on here, right? We are going to play some clips, just like last week and the couple previous weeks. We're going to play the three guitars we're talking about today, and we're gonna demo are the GS Mini Rosewood, the GS Mini Mahogany, and the GS Mini Koa. The guitar that Danny just played was a GS Mini E Koa Plus. That guitar has a little bit of a darker shaded edge burst on it. It comes with an ES2 pickup, and it has an arrow case. So for just a little bit more, you can get it looking like that. But it doesn't matter. We've got these 3 killer guitars. So we're going to play a strumming clip of the GS Mini Rosewood. Then we're going to talk about what they heard. It's pretty simple. Then we're going to do Mahogany, and then we're going to do Koa. So Gabriel, let's kick it off. Wait, we can't kick it off. Andy's got like 14 songs. Andy, will you play a GS Mini song into your face-off song? Can you do that? Wrong key.
Same thing.
Okay, go for it.
Face off with the Mini. Please forgive if we boast. We've sold 500,000. That must be the most of any model made since 74. It don't matter if you're fat or you're skinny. If you like guitars, you'll love a Mini.
That is so good. It's so true. Wow.
Inclusive.
Wow.
It's good.
Very inclusive.
That was very inclusive. I love that. Okay. Thank you, Andy, for that. We're going to go into the first clip. The first clip is a strumming clip. Our friend Daniel, just like the last few weeks, playing a GS Mini Rosewood. Let's go for it. Oh, okay. I'm going to pick this one. All right. Lindsay Love, what did you hear there? What did you like? What did you dislike? Tell us everything you know about that guitar.
I think from the last few showdowns, I think we've been talking about, I think a few times we've talked about smaller bodies recording better.
Yep.
And I think you absolutely, that was a perfect example. You heard it. Like there's probably, I would be curious to know how much editing Gabe had to do. Like, you don't have to take that much low end out of it. It just sits where it needs to be, but it was really balanced. Like, the low end was nice. The mids were a little scooped, but not too much. And then the clarity and the high fidelity and the brilliant side, there was still clarity at the top end. So it just sat exactly where it needed to be. That was
Absolutely.
really nice.
Absolutely. Lund, how did you feel about that?
I dug it too. I heard the scoop thing as well. And what I really noticed to kind of solidify that thought was when he laid into that last E chord, that low E string just sat right in a really nice spot. Didn't get too loud, didn't get too boomy, didn't take up too much space. It just fit right in there. So,
and Danny, tell us what you think about the GS Mini.
So
Rosewood.
I have had the pleasure of actually recording with all of the models, so I can speak just from a singing along with it and actually using it in a studio. It's very well balanced, and it's very easy to. It's been one of the easiest guitars to mix ever. I think a lot of it is that mid scoop, and a lot of it is that it doesn't have that enormous bottom end, which I'm never a massive fan of anyway. I know some people like a really big bottom end, so it's always been good for me not having to sit and work that bass, and it just it sits really nice and beautiful. They've always just felt right and balanced and beautiful and like it's supposed to be. It sounds with the simplest form, and it may sound silly to word it this way, but it sounds exactly like an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
You don't have to work it or really do much, if any, EQ work, and that's what someone wants an acoustic guitar to sound like. With a microphone on it.
They're considered a travel guitar. That guitar fits in a nice little case in the overhead bin on an airplane. It's the recording thing, Lindsay. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you with the recording thing. If I think that if I were to record with a Rosewood guitar, I might lean towards the GS Mini Rosewood.
GS Mini.
I think it sits exactly. I feel the balance and the playability thing. Ladies and gentlemen with kids, it's a perfect guitar to grow into. And obviously I'm a giant, so it's still perfect. I love it. I would give that guitar a 10 out of 10. I didn't know we were rating these things, but whatever. GS Mini E Rosewood. All right, let's go right into the next one so that we can hear some differences. The next one is a GS Mini E Mahogany. Gabriel, roll the clip, please. Yeah, I like mahogany a lot. All right, Danny, let's go with you first. What did you hear? What did you feel about that mahogany GS Mini?
It's always felt a little bit warmer to me. We're going to get very close into the territory of Danny is going to just keep saying the same thing. But
Right.
they just, if I was mixing, I would take the with a band or more instruments, I would take the Rosewood. But if it was just an acoustic between those two, if it was just going to be a voice and an acoustic, it would be that all day.
Interesting.
Had I not this.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
That is interesting. Lindsay, how did you feel about that guitar?
I think the mid-range frequencies popped a lot in that one. They definitely weren't scooped. You could almost see them be like the dBs being brought up. Like if you were to look at that graph that Gabe had a while back. And I would feel a little bit of the opposite just for my vocal style. I think I would sing more with the Rosewood one that we just heard. And this one, if I was playing in a band setting and just like not singing, or maybe singing too, but a band setting, this one would cut through more and sit where it needs to be without getting in the way of other instruments. It just sits. The mid range was so nice. It was sweet.
Andy,
I heard less bottom end and more of a mid range presence, and also like a dampening of the high end. And I think that's probably just because of that mahogany top. Not so brilliant on the top as the first guitar. Rosewood always has a lot of high end, a lot of shimmer, and that mahogany top kind of tends to dampen that in a really cool, earthy, organic sort of way. And I was thinking I was thinking about playing my GS Mini tonight, but mine is set up in a Nashville tuning, and it's another really nice use for this particular guitar. And if people don't know what that is, that's the bottom four strings of the guitar are tuned an octave higher. Which makes a really cool guitar to double with if you're cutting a track and you just want a little bit more space. If you have a double track with a Nashville strung guitar, it's really a really cool sound. And then the Mini works great for that.
Yeah, I love it. And mahogany, it's the mahogany thing for me. I like drier sounding instruments. It goes back to that debate, tone or sound is subjective, what people like differently. And for me, that the mahogany, I think is one of the most underrated guitars of all time. That GS Mini mahogany, I think that guitar it's fantastic. You can write on it, you can record with it. It's great. I'm not a singer, so I don't have to worry about the singing with it, but I would probably right now lean a little bit more mahogany. But we still have a Koa guitar coming up. So how about this? Gabriel, why don't you roll the clip of the GS Mini E Koa? Oh man, Andy, let's start with you on this one.
That one's a little harder because that one sounds very similar to me as the mahogany guitar. And that's true. Koa tops and mahogany tops are both in the hardwood family. and they do kind of the same thing. They dampen that high end. That one sounded. I think my favorite of all three of these is the mahogany top one so far. I like that one quite a bit. But those two are pretty close. I wouldn't. I could
Andy
go
goes mahogany as his favorite so far. Danny Worsnop. What do you feel about that one?
I will say before we even started this, my mind was made up by the fact that all of my guitars are in the house, and all of the other guitars are either at rehearsal spots or writing spots. So I think I'm coming in this very biased. I don't know. It might even be a subconscious thing with the color because of just how beautiful they are, but it has always for me been the most inspiring and creative feeling one for my writing to play, and it just does something magic to my brain.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Lindsay, how do you feel about the Koa GS Mini?
Yeah, I think I feel very similar to Andy and Danny, really, actually. But I think they were just it was so similar to the mahogany top, the mahogany one. Like the mid range was there was like a mid range focus, and the top end frequencies were super clear and bright. So I really enjoyed it though. It was really pretty. I think of all three for strumming one in that purpose and in recording, I think the mahogany one wins.
Mahogany wins for you.
Yeah. I don't know if we were picking them like that, but I'm going to throw it out there.
Which one would you pick with the Clark sisters?
Yeah, which one would you pick with the Clark sisters?
To
back them up.
I'd have to get out their way. I'd probably do the Rosewood one with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just us and the vocals. Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about Koa for a second because Danny brought it up. Behind you in the corner, I can kind of see it right behind your shoulder, where your right shoulder. That's a GT. That's a K21, right?
Yes, it is.
Ooh.
That's a GT K21. All right. So he does really like Koa guitars.
He likes Koa.
He's got GS Mini Koas. He's got GS Mini Koa Plus, all that kind of stuff. He loves them. I think our small body Koa guitars are incredible.
Yeah.
So I feel you on that one, Danny. I also think if you haven't played the Koa GS Mini bass, that's a really special instrument right there also. As far as strumming is concerned, I might stick with the mahogany, but the Koa would be right behind it. So for me, it's mahogany, Koa, then rosewood. So with that said, let's go right into our fingerstyle playthrough. So Danny, on this one, fingerstyle playthrough is just one straight three guitar playthrough. So after we'll get a real nice hear of what these things sound like. All right, Gabriel, roll the clip, please. Oh man, those are similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, Danny. All right, we're gonna go with you, Danny.
I was so ready to just go up. See, I think that's where the rosewood one comes in. I don't finger pick because I'm terrible at it. My my coordination is not that strong in the old right arm end, but I love listening to it. And I think that top end really adds something beautiful to it. But then the Koa came, and it's like, here's what it's like. Here's what the Koa does in my head, in my ears, and my feeling. It's like it comes and it gives you a really big hug. And then you're like, that's nice. But then it gets its legs up there too. And it's got you in one big like koala bear hug. And it's very comfortable. But it's not like a stranger doing it where you feel weirded out. It's like someone you've missed.
That's totally fair. I that is a great analogy.
That's hilarious.
Our small body Koa guitars do that.
Yeah.
For me as well. Okay, Lindsay, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, for me, the rosewood one stood out and sounded the most different, and it sounded the best. It sounded very full. It was because it's so balanced, and one, it helps. He picks with such great technique, and he has Nels. So even though the mids are scooped out of those, he's able to add a little bit of that because of his Nels and his picking technique. But yeah, that one just took up exactly what it needed to take up. It was so balanced. The other two, I felt when he was picking, you really felt the what we call natural compression because of the hard tops.
Yeah.
I think you really felt that, and I wasn't personally digging it too much, but yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I like them. I love them, but I'm just saying for me, I would have the picking the rosewood spoke to me.
All right. So Andy, when you're done telling us how you feel about those three guitars and which one would be your winner, I have a question for you. So the first question, how do you feel about those guitars? Which one is your winner for fingerstyle?
I thought I was going to like the mahogany one because as soon as I heard it after the first guitar, I was like, ooh, yep, that sounds great. I thought it was a mahogany night. But the Koa won me, man. Like for that little fingerstyle thing, I really love the way that whole thing's at nice and kind of a little bit squashed, a little bit compressed. The low end filled in really nice. So I'm gonna go with the Koa on that.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it goes back to what Danny said. It's the hug. It gives you a nice koala bear hug.
It does give you a nice hug.
Koala bear hug. I see what you did there, Danny.
I didn't even realize I did that. I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off.
Koala, yes.
Koala. Okay. Why no Maple GS Mini? Well, that's a good question. We'll get that to. Oh, they're asking questions because I asked them to ask their question. Hold on, we'll take some questions in just a second. My question for you, Andy Lund,
Yes,
is it two-part question? Is your high-strung GS Mini near you?
it is near me in proximity.
Oh,
I would need to dig a little bit, but if you know.
All right. You don't have to. Maybe you do. Maybe you should. We'll ask them. Do you want to hear this guitar? Second, of those three that we just heard, fingerstyle, which one would you high string?
Me?
Yeah.
Whew. If I was doing that, I would want all the shimmer out of it, so I would go with the rosewood guitar, I think.
Interesting. And what is your guitar that's high strung?
Mine is the original one. It's a Sapele and Sitka Spruce guitar.
I think it would be interesting if we could hear it. Do you want to play it?
All right. Give me a couple minutes. Play the
minutes. Okay, fine. Danny, this is what we do here.
Well, that then made me think of something because I have most of mine. I think I have two in standard, one in D sharp. But most of mine are all in just D standard. Like I go down a whole step, which for me, just on an EQ basis, it sounds good and it feels good. But I'd be now wondering how the rosewood would sound like because it does have that kind of shinier top end. It might be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Drop tune. Do you drop tune everything? Everything you do is standard, D standard, right?
Most of my guitars are in D standard. I got one electric, one acoustic in D sharp, and then like two of each in standard. But most of what I do is in D standard.
And is that because of your vocal range? Oh, sorry, Lindsay.
No.
Go ahead.
No, you go for it.
Is that because of your vocal range?
Yes and no. I do like my voice there, but it's generally more of an inspirational thing with however what I'm writing is driving. Like if something's kind of a little bit fatter sounding, I go D, which is usually kind of where most of my stuff lies. Like, not necessarily like a necessarily big aggressive rock song, but usually something that's more slow, sad, but still it's about that bottom and it's about just that warmth. And then the only reason I have an acoustic in D sharp is because my Strat's in D sharp, so I figured I need an acoustic. You know that.
Don't worry about it.
I don't have all my guitars unboxed yet, Jay. So it's a bass. It's the bass.
Oh,
It's GS Mini bass.
which
Oh
is
man,
awesome. Which is an awesome guitar.
which
Which
is an
won't
awesome
work well in a
guitar.
high strung situation.
No.
If you want me a couple more minutes, I'll go find it. But
No, it's fine. We can do a whole show on high stringing guitar.
yeah.
That just gives us more content we have to make. I love it. Okay.
So good.
All right. So we're gonna take one more trip around the horn here, real quick, and we're gonna decide which one guitar wins for you tonight. We'll start with Lindsay Love. Lindsay, which one of these 3 guitars wins for you? Both together. So strum and fingerstyle. You're gonna take this in to record your next hit record. Which one is you?
Oof. I want to say the mahogany. If we're doing for both, we have the mahogany.
Mahogany. All right. Andy Lund, which one is for you?
I'm in kind of a mahogany state of mind as well because I've been playing that 80-22 a lot that I have. So I'm with you there. I'm going mahogany.
Okay.
All hog, all day long, all hog.
Danny Worsnop, which one is for you?
I mean, I feel like we know where my head's at. I'm a color man.
Yeah.
I'm
a trader.
just tattoo me as color.
Okay, Koa. It is. Wow.
Where's your head at? What are you feeling?
Well, I'm going to say this out loud for the first time, and it would always usually be mahogany for me. But I think tonight I fell a little bit closer to the Koa camp on the GS Minis. And so I think with both guitars, I think it gives it some little like, it's hard to say, but there's this like weird shimmer that I like that's not present with that particular mahogany guitar. So if it were those 2 instruments side by side and I had to pick one, I will wrestle Danny Worsnop for the Koa guitar.
We could play it together.
That would be, we could do that thing where
found each other like in Ghost, but without the pottery.
Without the pottery, with the guitar spinning.
It'll be just with rockery.
Rockery. He's got another one. Man, he should have been on the show last week. All right, here we go. We got some questions in the feed. All right, so the overall winner, Mahogany and Koa, they're tied.
Yep.
Did you think that's what it was going to be when we started this show, Lindsay? You didn't know, did you?
No, I do. I used to be like Rosewood all the way, and then mahogany has grown on me in the last couple of years. Like I keep picking mahogany guitars. Well, up until recently, I was picking maple because I didn't know I loved maple so much. But yeah, so I guess I was a little not so that surprised.
Yeah. Okay. Gabriel, do we have some questions in the feed? So Danny, we're going to take some questions from the feed. Ask Danny anything. He's a rock star. He travels all over the world. He was not born in here, and then he came here, and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic about this dude. If you haven't noticed, he has an accent. He's
do.
An Englishman. Where were you born?
I was born up north. Ooh, sounded like a death metal band starting out. Yeah, a tiny little farm town up north in England, northeast. Tiny little village, about 300 people.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Here we go. Gabriel, throw us some questions.
I will say, as we're doing a GS Mini thing, I've also, I travel the world a lot, but I travel it with a GS Mini in hand. Besides that one time it got lost that we were talking about, Jay, a while back. So I have extensive experience traveling with these as well. Over time, which top will mature out and be better sounding? That's not a question for me.
Andy Lund or Lindsay Love?
What does better sounding mean?
Here he goes.
Subjective.
See, this is where we get nerdy.
Subjective.
We push back.
They will all get better over time. and the more they're played, Danny, as someone who has traveled the world banging on the guitars forever, he can probably say that the guitars that he thinks sound better or do better things for his brain than they did when they were brand new, because there's something about the way they open up and they work in, and so
Definitely.
Fair. Okay. Any more, Gabe? I've seen so many questions. Hunter Platt. Oh, welcome back. I haven't seen you for a few weeks. How many of the Asking Alexandria songs were written on a GS Mini? That is a fantastic question.
That is. I would probably guesstimate somewhere in the range of between 15 and 20 of the Asking songs. But it's usually, aside from like the ballads, which usually all are, they start life on either piano or an acoustic. And the GS is the only acoustic I travel with usually. Outside of those, everything that I write on guitar is, again, usually on this, but it's usually I'm just writing vocal melodies, and I'll just sit and loop whatever we've written and just. And just kind of like that's where I'll kind of come up with whatever melodies I end up singing and writing the actual vocal to. So realistically, almost all of them since I came back to the band in 2018?
Yeah.
2017?
Oh, wow.
So in some way, almost every song we've done since then.
Every song. I think we should be this GS Mini army right now, and all of us on this live stream should go tell everybody to buy a GS Mini right now.
I do it all the time.
More questions, Gabe. ES Go for GS Mini? Tell me about it. Ooh. Who wants to take that, Andy or Lindsay? Andy? Or Lindsay?
ESGO is a small passive magnetic pickup that clips into every GS Mini has a little clip that sits right underneath the fingerboard extension, and the ESGO is a kind of an affordable pickup that snaps right in place, and you can wire it right to an N-pin jack, and there you go. You can take it in and out pretty easily. It is passive. It sounds better with a preamp in front of it, and because you probably want to do a little bit of control over the EQ and stuff like that, and it'll bump it up. But it's a very similar to like the sound of a Sunrise sound hole pickup, something like that, or a Fishman. What's the name of it? There's a real common Fishman sound hole pickup that's a magnetic source, and it's sort of that same sort of technology.
Excellent.
Fishman.
More questions?
Forgot.
Ken Rogers. Is the best use of the GS Mini live performance or recording aside from sitting on the couch and just playing? Oh man, all of the above for me.
I use all three. Actually, I didn't realize until I got to rehearsals, because I never plugged them in. Well, especially not over the last 2 years because I've been sat at home. So they've just been mic'd up. I had no idea that the battery in that was dead. So I showed up with it. Thankfully, we had one of the Grand Pacifics there as well. So I used that on the last tour. But usually I play this for all my live stuff. And I record with that 90% of the time. And the other 10 is the GT if we're feeling like mixing it up. But for the most part, that's for that. And then at home. That I actually have a really weird GS Mini. It was the first one I got, which was a Sitka one, and I have that strung for purely sat at the house, just noodling around when it doesn't have to sound phenomenal. And I have electric guitar strings on it just because it's just super slinky and just it doesn't need to be loud or resonant or anything. It can just be just messing around. That's my top guitar.
Try Diodario nickel bronze strings on it. It'd be pretty awesome. Oh, Danny, what string gauge do you use?
On this, I have 12s, but on the higher strung, like when I'm in standard, I think we have 11s on there, if I remember rightly.
maybe.
I think that sounds about right. I like to go a little lighter.
That's fair. All right. Thank you very much. What other guitars do you play on a regular basis? Ooh.
I've toured with the T5Z for quite a few years now, for about 5 years, 6 years.
Mhm. Yep.
And then I also behind me have my two signature custom PRSs that are there, that are 594s.
Ooh, that gold top is beautiful.
Yeah, I always wanted a gold top, like slashes. So it's all relict, which I know splits the room at any guitar conversation. But I got a gold top and a black top that are both very, very nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
and
a good guitar.
they're pretty much all my guitars now. I got a couple others lying around just for like different tuning stuff, but for the most part, it's that
Bob,
and that.
you want a little trivia? Bob Taylor has a PRS that was signed by Paul Reed Smith.
Hell yeah!
To Bob from Paul. And he likes to tell us that guitar might be worth something someday. Anyway, all right, Lisa, is it true that Koa blossoms on the bass side after 2 to 5 years? I don't want my K plus to change in time. Uh-oh, Andy, Lindsay, you want to take this?
Well, Andy can chime in too. But Koa opens up, and so yeah, everything just becomes a little bit more over the years. The Koa top will open up, and I like it. Just becomes more lived in, more seasoned, and more brilliant. It just it opens up.
I like
So,
the
yeah,
word
you're basic.
lived in, seasoned.
I don't know how to describe it. You start.
I think that's the perfect explanation of it.
Lived in. Yeah, it's like that really good pair of Converse Chuck Taylors, right? They kind of grow in. Interesting. Well, I know you, Lisa, that you don't want it to change, but all guitars are going to change in some way.
I
They're
think
gonna-
you change your mind.
You'll like it. You'll like it.
It's
Yeah.
not going to change in a bad way at all. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It might. It'll just be someday you'll be sitting down and going, "Damn, this thing
Ooh.
sounds good."
I don't even think it's anything you'll ever notice
Oh.
until if you record, if you listen to it back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're
But
in-
I've never heard anyone play like an old guitar and be disappointed in its comparison to a brand new one. And I've also never known anyone get a guitar. This is starting to feel old. I need to get a new one. I've heard people say they need to get a new one, but not because of how because it sounds old.
Exactly.
Yeah, Lisa, just like you said, worked in denim. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Like jeans get
Mhm.
better over time.
Yep.
So do guitars. All right,
Yep.
Gabriel, more questions for us. Feed us. He's finding them. I see him. Oh,
I saw somebody. Where's it? Oh, there we go.
I do see that question from Rob about if I find the D strings very odd sounding using the electric strings. The entire thing's a little odd sounding. It's purely for the couch. It's literally just for very, very relaxed couch playing to no one but myself. It's purely for comfort reasons.
cats, maybe?
Yeah.
Your cats like it. Okay. JD, why no Maple GS Mini? Andy, Lindsay, do you know this question?
We have a Maple GS Mini bass.
We did have a Maple, didn't we?
We've
No, we
made some.
do.
We've made
And
some.
we did have a Maple too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've made them. They've never been in the line permanently, but we have made some. We've made some for some export markets that I work on, and they're really cool, man. The one step above that is you can take the outer veneer and you can match the inner veneer as well. That's always kind of a neat thing when we do that on some of those GS Minis. So you'll have a matching rosewood on the inside as well as the outside.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, those are cool. And the maple ones are rad when they're built that way. Yeah.
They
All
look
right.
cool. Is it a cells? I wonder if it's a cells thing because like the Maple bases look beautiful.
Yeah. There's more maple to come, Lindsay. So it's a good thing that you're digging them these days, because
I am digging them. I'm like,
there's
I'm
more
gonna
stuff
go all
coming.
Maple art.
yeah.
Yeah, the Maple bass is really. We'll do a bass showdown on Primetime. The Maple bass is like snappy and it's really
Mhm.
there's a vibe to it that's really great. The Koa bass is a little bit warmer And then we don't make the other one anymore, right? We don't make
Nope.
the Sapele bass. That bass was wicked. I loved it.
That's what I have.
they were all
That
great.
I was trying to dig out.
I'm looking at the maple colors right now. They look wonderful.
Yeah,
I
they're pretty amazing. All right. Any more questions, Gabe? You got like 2 questions, 3 questions? Will there ever be a cedar topped mini? Oh man, Lindsay, that would be tight.
That'd be amazing, but I don't know. Never say never. I don't know though.
Never say
These are
never.
every variation of GS Mini.
Yeah.
Every wood we can think of.
This is the original bass.
Oh yeah, there's the original. That's a cool
Ooh.
bass.
You want to rip on that for a second? How out of tune is it?
Well, hold on a second here. Let me get my.
You're going to hear a little bass right now, everybody. Then we'll answer.
It's really an impressive sound.
It is. So good. That's my favorite instrument we make. No, hands down, because I'm way better bass player than I am guitar player. But it's so good. That would be my couch instrument. The way that the strings were made, Andy helped invent those strings. They're a nylon core with a phosphor bronze wrap around them, so they're kind of slinky. They feel you can roll them a little like a fretless. Like that bass is just it's
fun.
It's a wonderful instrument. All right, Gabe, we got 2 more questions. Then we'll go to Lindsay's question, 2 minutes of sports and some trivia, and wrap the show up.
Yeah.
JD, what type / watt of amplifier do you use for your GS Minis? Oh, that's a good one. Danny, what is your signal chain for the GS Mini when you play it live?
Live, I plug it in and send it either. If I'm doing fly around stuff, I just send it straight to the front of house, and they do the stuff they do with it. I'm not sure exactly what my sound guy puts on it. Sounds wonderful, but given the choice and being able to take stuff, I run it into a Kemper.
Oh, really?
Nice.
I have a little bit of compression, tiny bit of EQ, some reverb, a little echo, and that is about it.
Have you ever messed with like Axe effects in it? I think you did in the past, or is it just
the other guys in Asking use Axe effects? I personally do not get along with the interface.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Kemper's always just been super simple because, for the most part, it plays like an amp does.
It plays like an amp does.
I like knobs and dials and faders much better than I like all the digital stuff.
Yeah.
Menus and submenus. Yep.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. Any more questions, Gabriel? If you could sit down and play with any guitarist from any time, who would it be?
Oh,
that is a great question, Hunter.
That's a good question.
Actually, I do know the answer to this, and it's not because we're similar at all. And I was talking about this 2 days ago at our last show of tour, because someone put it on in our dressing room, and I always forget how outrageously creative and unique of a guitarist he is. But I would love to sit down with, it probably wouldn't be unobtainable. We play together all the time at like festivals and stuff. I would love to sit down with Wes Borland and pick his brain on how that happens. Because he does stuff that like I can't even imagine human beings think of.
Yeah.
Sounds that he comes up with are just so crazy and incredible and just completely different from everything else in the world.
Wow. I would agree with you. That would be interesting. Man, there's so many guitar players. That's a great question. Andy, who would you play with?
Jeff Beck. No problem. No question.
Ooh,
no question. Wow.
Jeff
yeah.
Beck.
Lindsay, who would you play with?
I can't answer.
No.
It's not even fair. I really can't. Alive or dead? Is that what he said?
From
Or
any
just
era,
alive?
alive or dead, yeah.
Oh, I don't. Wes Montgomery. It's too hard. It's too hard. I couldn't play. Honestly, I couldn't play with Wes Montgomery. Let's just be real. But I would try. to not look like a fool.
Yeah, that question's too hard. That's great. Eric Johnson, her. That's a good one.
Her,
Yeah,
she's a ripper. She is so good.
she is so
Yeah.
good.
Nick Jonas.
Yes.
Honestly, I'd like to play with Sharky or Eric Wall. I mean, there's so many players. There's so many players that I.
Alvin Lee. Yep. Eric Johnson. Yeah. Buddy Miller.
Buddy Miller's.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like there's it's really
Too
an
many.
endless list.
Yeah.
Like it's such a. I feel like it would be an easier question to be like name a guitarist like you wouldn't necessarily care. That's such an easier list to do. Like I want to play with Sam Bora. I want to play with Brian May all day long. I want to sit down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Trey Hensley. Yeah. No one
Sure.
can play like that. Yeah. No, that would be hard. You know what's really interesting is I often get in these debates with people about the top when people put out like a top 100s list. So I'm going to rock the boat just a little bit because on these top 100 lists, there's these two guitar players. And one of them is the main writer. He's a guitarist, main writer for this band called the Smashing Pumpkins. Do we know who this person is?
We do.
Okay. And then there's this other guy who is no longer with us. And he was the main writer and guitar player for this band, Nirvana. Do we know who this is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kurt was put lower or higher, if you will, so upper numbers than the other guy. How do you feel about that?
I feel like these lists are all crap. I hate to say it.
That's all I was looking for.
No, I look at the list and I'm like, they don't know half of these guys as heroes that they learned from that should
Right.
be on this list. So they're
Like-
crap. I never give them any credibility half the time. They're missing people all the time. Like
I
all
think
the
it's
time.
in both ends. There's a lot of people where it's like they don't see far enough back to
Yes.
include people who deserve to be there. But also a lot of the time it's you see people it's like they're just there because they're famous.
Absolutely.
There are much better guitarists working and touring today who far more deserve to be on this list.
Right. Right.
Really, though, if you sat down and like 100, I'm sure if we individually sat down and did 100 and then give ourselves 2 weeks to look at it, like, what was I thinking? That was crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it's really interesting. I've heard this fight, Billy Corgan versus Kurt, and it's always like, I've heard people argue it multiple times, 2 or 3 times. I've heard people like almost come to blows, and I'm like, Billy Corgan's great. I like him. Great guitar player. Great
And when you talk
songwriter.
when you talk about a pure guitarist,
Yeah. Like not a
no
writer.
no disrespect to either one of them. They're great, but
Yeah.
I don't 100. I don't know if they would make
I was,
the
about to
list.
say the same thing. I was about to say the same thing. If
They
if
wouldn't
They
make
wouldn't
the
make
list.
my 100.
So,
guitarists, they're not on it.
yeah.
Right.
So that's
Songwriters list, maybe.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
But
Later.
top 100
Yeah.
guitar players list. Yeah. Look, look at all the guitar players they're putting in the feed over here.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Murphy, exactly.
He's
The dude's
amazing.
wild.
He's amazing.
But I mean, you have. Oh, here's one. Danny, you know this guy Ben Bruce? He's a good guitar player.
Awful.
Awful
He's-
guitar player.
So he's so when we started the band, he was obsessed with the blues. Grew up playing the blues. Was absolutely phenomenal at it. And then just with what we were doing for last however many 2 long years, he just never played outside of touring because we were touring so much and writing so much. And I'd always pressed him like, put guitar solos in the songs, put guitar solos in the songs, do more guitar, do more guitar. And he's just like, that's not what people want. Like, sure, that stuff's cool. I like doing it, but no one wants to sit and listen to that. I was like, you're crazy. I'm a lead singer with an ego, and even I know the guitar solo is the coolest part of the song. And he didn't do it, and he didn't do it, and he didn't do it. And before this record, I finally talked him into it, and the guitar solos all over it, and they're the bits that everyone talks about. And he was like, why wasn't I doing this all? He's like falling in love with playing guitar again. And he's finally showing how good he actually is when
He's so good.
realistically over the last like 10, 12 years, people just saw him as he has great timing and he has good execution. And that's the end of the like there wasn't anything that stood out. There wasn't anything that was particularly impressive or even stylistically like inspiring within what he was playing and the way he was playing it. It was just very like, there is that. And now he's like actually showing people what I saw and what I see. And it's incredible. He's actually a very, very phenomenal guitarist. And I think he's about to start getting the recognition for that he was, for whatever reason, shying away from.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at all the names over here. Django, absolutely. Glenn Campbell, yep. Lindsey Graham, Jerry Reed, Charlie Bird, Barney. Oh, wow. Barney Kessel.
Barney Kessel.
Lindsey Buckingham, yep. Hakes Taylor. Dude, Al Cooper. All these guitar players. I mean, we have, I bet you if this group right here who comes and hangs out with us on Tuesday nights put this list together, it would be a really long list. All right.
Top 10,000 guitarists. Episode 1.
I know. My mom watches the show every week, Danny. She said hi. And she would dig that list. She would eat it up. It'd be 10,000 different guitar players. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out on the showdown with us. We got a couple of segments left. They're very easy. You just hang out with us and do this real quick. You've been phenomenal, Danny. You were the perfect guest to have on for a GS Mini Showdown because you truly love the guitar. So any last words about the GS Mini before we move the show along?
I've told people 10,000 times to go buy one, and I feel like every time people go online and are looking at something out of curiosity, they're being given a sales pitch. So I'm gonna spare them on that. And it's been something that before we ever knew each other and before I was ever even in cahoots with Taylor, something that I was spending my own money on, loving and telling the world about and playing and taking around the world every single day. So allow that to be my endorsement of it, that it's the guitar I've kind of taken into my life and trusted for the last half decade. Cool. Literally since the day I found it.
Does Danny sleep with his GS Mini? I'm sure he does.
Yes, but I then sleep alone.
Perfect. All right. We're going to move on to the next segment of this show. And that is Lindsay's question. This one's great, Danny. Lindsay's just going to ask you a random question. But before that starts, Andy has a song.
What will you say? What will you say? More a question than a test. What will you say? What will you say to Lindsay?
That's a new one.
As soon as you said, what will he say? I was like, that's exactly what my manager's going to question when he starts watching. He's going to be like, oh, no.
That is so great. That is so great.
So good. This is so good. He's so great. Okay, Andy, thank you for that. Lindsay's question.
All right, set me up for fail. Come on.
Yeah, no, you're not going to fail. You're not going to fail. I'm not even going to do like a really deep, thought-provoking one. Let's see, Danny. What is your most used emoji? Your top 3 used emoji.
Emoji? That's this guy.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't use many emojis. More than anything, I use them to just streamline because I try and stay off my phone as much as I can. I slip a lot, but I'll just do this like a got it, thanks, and I give people a lot of thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
That's most of actually my phone. This is how much I'm not on my phone. It's not even on. I've turned it up. It's pretty much those two are my, and then the crying with laughter face I use often. Okay. Those probably the only 3 that are in rotation.
That's it. That says a lot about you.
Easy.
What's yours, Lindsay?
Mine? Well, I mean, with my my work phone, it might be like something more serious, like thumbs up, whatever. Personal phone, I'll tell you right now what it is. It's like a laughing, crying face. It's the yelling emoji, like the dude that's like like the sound, and it's this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lund, are you on the emoji kick?
I have never used an emoji.
I love and respect that.
It's funny. There's this kind of old girlfriend I had, and we kind of met up a couple years ago and had a good time. And she started keeping in touch with me afterwards, and she's like, I don't even get an emoji for that. And I was like, nope, sorry, you don't. So I think she doesn't talk to me anymore. So
Oh man.
You know what? One of our directors uses an antiquated colon and parentheses thing
Oh.
intentionally. It's really great. But then all of a sudden, we use, Microsoft Outlook at work. All of the sudden, it started just changing it to an emoji, and he was really upset. It was great.
What he needs
I
to
go
do
back.
is screenshot his version and insert that.
Yep. Yep.
That's totally my favorite emoji. Hang loose is a good one. I like that
Hang
one.
loose is a good one.
Praying hands, because I don't know if it's saying thank you or if it's praying.
It's praying. I use that one a lot too. That's
Yeah, I'm
a
like,
rotation.
thank you, or am I praying for you?
Yes.
I don't know, but I'm doing
Interchangeable. Interchangeable.
You need Jesus.
something. And most recently, it's the face, the new one. Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah. They're
Okay,
interchangeable. That's good.
Andy, we
Let's
need
go.
one more song. It's time for
All right.
Jay's favorite part: 2 minutes of sports.
all right.
Two minutes of sports, no more baseball for this year. The Braves won it all, they answered the call. Soler was hot, man, he smashed the ball. 116 days till spring training games on 2 minutes of sports.
Yeah, Danny, I have this addiction. It's a good addiction. It's baseball. I truly enjoy the sport of baseball. Some people find it boring. Some people find it really exciting. And the minute the World Series ends, and by the way, bravo to the Atlanta Braves and Freddie
yeah.
Freeman for winning his World Series. Evan, I also miss baseball. So does Tobias over here. Jay, that is true. You're right. Hold on. Matt Steele brought something up, and that is my favorite emoji is the dancing dude. Yeah, you're right. That's a good one too. So maybe I have 4. Anyway, Danny, baseball. So I often wear a hat, different hats. I have a lot of hats. This hat is for my pal, Carlos Rondon on the White Sox. He's a pitcher. He threw a no-hitter this year, and he is a Taylor player. His favorite Taylor guitar is a GT Urban Ash.
Nice.
He loves it dearly, but he's looking at maybe a GP. I don't know. He likes that blacktop American Dream guitar. So we'll get there. Anyway, so Danny, so the minute the World Series ends, I'm like, ooh, what's going to happen in free agency tomorrow? Now that's how it goes for me. I have a thing. So does my mother. She was on one of the shows once. We did a little pilot or a little flyaway episode, and I did it from her house. It was great. Anyway, Danny, what is your favorite sport?
So, I'll actually give you a little bit of baseball information so hockey. I lived in when I moved to the US. Actually, when I was still in England, there was a hockey team near me, ice hockey, and I very much enjoyed it. But it was very small there. So when I moved over to the States, I was living in Dallas, Texas, and I started going to hockey games all the time. I even have the Dallas Stars tattooed on my body. But I don't know if you follow hockey at all. Being a Dallas Stars fan, especially then, very difficult, very difficult, very stressful. So I kind of. As I got busier and it got harder to be a Dallas Stars fan, I kind of just phased out of sports. But that being said, I have more baseball experiences than any other sporting experiences of anything in my entire life, because there's the Nashville AAA team, whose name I am completely blanking on right now, but some of their players are big fans, so they invite me out to the games when I'm there. The Athletics invited me to all their pre-training stuff, so we were hanging out with them. And I used to go to the Dodger Stadium, and there were seats AA 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right behind their dugout that we'd go to.
Yeah.
But I knew nothing about baseball, and at the time was a massive alcoholic, so I don't know if I ever saw a full baseball game or how many of their baseball goals they scored. But I've been to them.
Baseball goals that they've scored.
Baseball goals.
That's so good. All right, right before we get into trivia here, we got some trivia. We got one trivia question. You guys got to hang on. All right, hockey. Yep, big fan. Before the Dallas Stars, they were the Minnesota North Stars.
Sure.
When we lived in Minneapolis or Minnesota, we lived in Burnsville, Minnesota, as a family. My brother graduated from high school there, which is in the same city as Evie, right? So Evie owned by Bosch. Bosch also owns Midas. So Midas and Evie, and I'm connecting all this for the music nerds out
It's
there.
about to be a conspiracy theory.
We lived on a Minnesota North Stars street where they owned one of the houses and they would trade people. And we had sports ball. Exactly, Patrick. And we lived by this guy who was a defenseman right before they got moved to Dallas. His name was Brad Maxwell. And little fun fact, we used to play street hockey, right? And these North Stars players would come over here and take like full-on slap shots at us.
Madonna just punking on you.
Yeah, like Dino Ciccarelli and Don Beaupre was there. He would play goal, and it was just really, really crazy. But wow, Dallas Stars, that's great. I love you. I love that. That's so good. All right. Anywho, it's time for trivia, and we're going to wrap up the show. Trivia question. You guys know how this works. We have one trivia question. The prize tonight is a Taylor Sense. We need to get you Taylor Sense, Danny. That's a good.
I tell you what.
I'll explain after the show. Okay. It's a smart battery box, which reads information to you, like humidity levels.
You have told me about these, and I think you said the same thing. We got to get you one of those, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, we'll get you some. Okay. Anyway, after that, so the rules to trivia are: Gabriel O'Brien and Paul Tobias cannot answer the questions. If you win, if you are the first person in the feed to answer the question correctly, Gabriel will put it on the screen. If you win, then you can send us an email at primetime@taylorguitars.com and we'll send you your Taylor Sense. We might throw in some other stuff in there like strings, maybe some picks, maybe some cleaner, maybe a rag. We'll see. All right, Gabriel, roll the question, please. What month and year was the first GS Mini released? And what was the Tonewood pairing? Ooh.
Most days, it don't matter how much useless stuff you know. Here on the Primetime part of the show, it's trivia.
Wow,
Put your knowledge on the line. Trivia. Free Taylor Sense from Primetime. Trivia.
Gabriel, are we even close? I think we had one that was close. Close. Oh.
I will say also earlier in the episode it was mentioned.
Yeah, done. We got it.
By the way, Evan won last week too.
There you go.
Evan. Hey.
Good job, Evan.
Hey.
Good job, Evan.
Good job.
Evan's got
Good job,
6
Evan.
skills.
Yes. June 2010. We celebrated last year our 10-year birthday, June 2010, and it was Spruce and Sapele. Well, there, ladies and gentlemen, we have this week's
show.
We have this week's episode
Issue.
Episode of Taylor Primetime. Next week, we will not have a show. Some of us are going to be in Las Vegas for the Latin Grammys, and we have to go support that. So next week, we will not have a show. We will be back the week after. You'll get all the information saying thank you for hanging out with us. Danny, it's been so great hanging out with you. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Yeah, taking time out of your evening, missing dinner, eating dinner, finishing dinner.
It's good. Spaced it out. I feel like I'm eating less.
There you go. More. Guys, it's always great to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Andy, would you like to take it away?
What was it? What was it? It was prime time. It was prime time. What the heck was it? Well, that was prime time. Danny loves his koa. It does good things to his brain, like hugs from a welcome stranger, like a koala in warm rain. Yeah, he writes the asking songs on the mini. He always plays it live. 2 gold tops from PRS. He also plays the T5. Things you learn on Primetime on Tuesdays. But not next week. No, not next Tuesday. The Tuesday after that. Thank y'all. See you soon. Thanks for watching the show.